How you doing, guys? Welcome back to Invested Intelligence. So as expected, Bitcoin's taking a bit of a dump to the downside. There's absolutely no expectation of bullish behavior from me. I've been talking about Bitcoin going down. Binance is following suit. US equities market's obviously very weak today. This is not going to change. We're not going to go on a multi-year bull run just because people see a few green candles. The rhetoric is absolutely absurd that we're hearing out there. This is going to continue, and I'm going to go on record and say right now, I absolutely believe that Bitcoin is going to go down to 11,655. I've been talking about this for quite some time. And to those people that are listening, at least to my opinion, which I'm trying to back up with, logic, objective thinking, facts, and if you're not in the Discord, the link's in the description below because I do post a few things in there about this. I'm trying my best to just maintain this kind of sanity in a market, right, where influencers and people, Bitcoin maxis, cryptocurrency enthusiasts believe that we are going to go on a multi-year bull run when the entire world is basically imploding on itself. This is not going to happen, and today is just a very, very good example of that. And then on top of that, tomorrow, which is the 10th of March, we are going to get the first round, or should get the first round of BTC from the Mt. Gox hack back in 2014. That's going to start hitting the market as well. Some of this today may very well be people, jumping out of Bitcoin to protect themselves from what could potentially be unfolding tomorrow as that Bitcoin hits the market. But broader market weakness is dragging everything down. And I absolutely believe that this is a false breakout. I believe that this is going to be a continued run to the downside, and I think we are going to start to eat into number two, start to take out all of this impulse to the upside. This was a momentum move, to be honest, which did look relatively strong. And I was saying we're probably going to hit peak 25K. And I said, if we break through 25K, then we can start thinking about number three over here. That hasn't happened. 25 peak, basically, and then a massive drop. So expect some more downside. Don't expect this to change anytime soon. And remember, we've got non-farms tomorrow, so obviously that's going to create a lot of volatility in the market, but it's unlikely that it's going to reverse what happened today. The interesting thing, and I'll just quickly say this before we go over to Binance, that the non-farms, generally what tends to happen is markets will run a certain way pre-news releases, FOMC, non-farms, these types of things. But obviously we're running lower before the announcement tomorrow, which is basically non-farms down here, average earnings, non-farm employment change, unemployment rate. But the interesting thing is we were running higher first, and then we've just exploded to the downside in the last 3 hours, right? So that's very, very interesting. And this may very well be a precursor to continued movement to the downside. So just bear that in mind. Be very, very careful. Going over to Binance, I was saying 280, tapped it, tapped it. 283 was the lowest point, and then bang, we're down at, 275. This is a momentum shift. This is a shift in flow. It's very easy to see if you know what you're doing. And again, it's not because I want to be right. I want to be really, really clear about this because I get a lot of DMs and people are saying, you said this and you said this. I've always maintained, and if you're paying attention, I only release videos very specifically, and I only talk about things when it makes sense. I'll post a very clinical, Bitcoin's going to do this. Binance is going to do this. And that's when I have absolute confidence that that is the case, because I want to be really, 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 really sure before I put my name to something like, a prediction that I, could very well get wrong and potentially put, people on the wrong side of things. Obviously, everything that I talk about was, is never intended to be financial advice. And I've made that very, very clear. But we're down here at 275. Is it looking like we're going to, see anything else other than continued downside? No, absolutely not. And in fact, it's actually easier to see on Bitcoin, on Binance. We've got this move to the downside, Obviously, this was the acquisition of FTX before it all went tits up, and then obviously big, strong move to the downside. And we haven't even come close to coming anywhere near the 400 mark since. We hit a peak around about sort of 336, 335, and we've just been bleeding lower ever since. And there's a dead giveaway right there. You see that candle just here, the weekly candle? Price basically went all the way down, tried to reject, and tried to start to push back up, and this was a key level here at 321, didn't get back up there. And obviously it's just been bleeding and bleeding and bleeding, and I think we're just going to continue to bleed until we eventually get down to what I believe to be 148. Again, a number that I've been calling for quite some time, but ultimately I think we are, headed for some pretty dark times, in terms of global markets, in terms of US equities market. I think the dollar's going to start tearing to the upside. We're already seeing signs of, dollar strengthening. And obviously the more the dollar, strengthens, that's going to basically filter over into, US equities markets, and we'll see downturns in US equities markets. If we move over to the SPY, you can see, and, again, Discord is in the link. The link to the Discord is in the description below. I was saying in the Discord, right, that the S&P was defending 4,000. If we stay above 4,000, we could get a little bit more upside. But obviously, the peak, let's take a look here, was at 4,017. Didn't even muster up enough strength to get anywhere near through 4,000. 17 points is nothing. And then obviously since then, we basically took a tank to the downside, and now we are currently down 2.73%, over 100 points on the S&P. And again, continued movement to the downside. And for those that are interested in Swissborg, as I am, so CHSB, I believe, and this has been on my chart for quite some time, I'll have to go over to the weekly chart just to show you this, 11 cents. I've been calling 11 cents on CHSB for quite some time. So I will be very interested, to take a very close look at CHSB if, and I say if, but I believe it's going to get down to 11 cents. So, for you CHSB holders out there, myself included, and obviously, those of us who are, sort of heavily trusting of Swissborg, I do believe that we are going to see 11 cents. But again, stay safe, guys. Be really, really careful with the markets, especially tomorrow. If you can avoid it, don't engage in the markets tomorrow. I think we're going to see some fireworks. And with that said, I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening or day wherever you are in the world. And I look forward to speaking to you in the next update. All the best and take care. Ciao for now.